I understand the law of sowing and reaping. It is a spiritual law that has tremendous physical implications. Every time that we delay or frustrate what we can do today, leaving it till tomorrow, we hold back the future. We, too, must reap what we have sown by experiencing delays. I wouldn't mind if I had to travel every single day. I love meeting new people and experiencing new things, making new connections with people in different places. While we can't begin to repay the debt we owe our veterans for their brave service, we can certainly take steps to ease the physical, psychological and financial hardships they may be experiencing. The result is that you are now experiencing what we experienced in the war in Algeria. The Israeli government says that it is a victim of terrorist activity, but this activity is less visible than the military strikes. My family kinda hit the skids. We were experiencing poverty at that point. We all got a job, where the whole family had to work as security guards and janitors. And I just got angry. If somebody asked me about my inspiration, I would say that it's not the people and it's not the things, it's travel and experiencing different environments. I love that experience of seeing a bad movie or a movie that you don't even know, and then experiencing it with your friend. No American can read the story of the part America took in the war without experiencing a glow of patriotic feeling. Every allied nation can say the same thing. Many of us are experiencing a phase of change, shedding outdated patterns and liberating ourselves from the old by moving on to the new. The year 2012 is an important one for mankind, a pivotal year. The potential for this exists in the mere fact that the majority of us are yearning for change. My dream role would probably be a psycho killer, because the whole thing I love about movies is that you get to do things you could never do in real life. And that would be my way of vicariously experiencing being a psycho killer. Also, it's incredibly romantic. Long Black Train was inspired by a vision that I had of a long, black train running down this track way out in the middle of nowhere. I could see people standing out to the sides of this track watching this train go by. As I was walking, experiencing this vision, I kept asking myself, what does this vision mean and what is this train? Psychology is the science of the act of experiencing, and deals with the whole system of such acts as they make up mental life. I travel around the world, experiencing every language, every religion, some places where there's just no reason to smile, because their lives are so difficult. I will never forget experiencing Venice for the first time. It feels like you are transported to another time. The art, music, food and pure romance in the air is like no other place. Finding gainful employment to pay for housing is hard for any veteran experiencing homelessness. It's even more difficult for veterans who've also had encounters with police and stints in jail. I felt that I had to write. Even if I had never been published, I knew that I would go on writing, enjoying it and experiencing the challenge. We live in bodies that are fearfully and wonderfully made, yet they are not immune to illness and pain. We have hearts that are capable of experiencing great love, but sometimes they get broken. Those who have come into Formula One without experiencing cars devoid of electronic aids will find it tough. To control 800 horsepower relying just on arm muscles and foot sensitivity can turn out to be a dangerous exercise. Art in the age of the digital image is completely different from experiencing art in physical form. We're always experiencing joy or sadness. But there are lots of people who've closed down, and there are times in one's life when one has to close down just to regroup. Happiness is found by deeply experiencing the exact moment we are in. I've always believed in experiencing everything in life. When you walk out with blinders on, you cut yourself off from the angels and the fairies. I hope that anyone facing or experiencing discrimination will, first of all, take to heart that this is not their fault, and they are not alone in this. Secondly, I hope they find ways to plug into communities to help prevent negative feelings of discrimination from festering. While experiencing happiness, we have difficulty in being conscious of it. Only when the happiness is past and we look back on it do we suddenly realize, sometimes with astonishment, how happy we had been. I am used to experiencing so much trauma, that when I see it, I have to speak out. I don't think rappers have a responsibility, but if you don't say something or be silent or avoid it, I believe it shows your true real character to the world. It's like, if no one wants to rap about gentrification, then I am going to fill that void. I spent 12 years of my life writing stories without black people. That's insane to me. It's insane that I could have believed in magical portals and dragons and all that stuff, but to believe a black person could be experiencing those things was unimaginable. I don't own designer clothes, or a sports car, or a huge house, but I am seeing the world, experiencing amazing things, and I have become an environmental campaigner. There's no glory in climbing a mountain if all you want to do is to get to the top. It's experiencing the climb itself, in all its moments of revelation, heartbreak, and fatigue, that has to be the goal. I am aware of the depths of heartache I'm experiencing, but also how foolish it is to think that the things we have are permanent. They're not. Isn't it the moment of most profound doubt that gives birth to new certainties? Perhaps hopelessness is the very soil that nourishes human hope. Perhaps one could never find sense in life without first experiencing its absurdity. The world has been experiencing a whole pattern of auto-destruction, whether in environmental disasters like Chernobyl or health disasters like AIDS. The Ramones own the fountain of youth. Experiencing us is like having the fountain of youth. The experience of God, or in any case the possibility of experiencing God, is innate. In such a globally connected world, musicians now have the unique opportunity to express all of the cultural mash-ups we are experiencing these days. Akin to the blend of cultures that occurred in early 20th century New Orleans that led to the birth of jazz, I believe that the world has reached a similar cultural turning point. I'm experiencing a lot of new things in life: cars, houses, jewelry, and getting the family situated. I've been dealing with fake friends, though, like a lot of people trying to come around. There are pros and cons to this fame thing. I don't understand why Europeans and South Americans can take more sophistication. Why is it that Americans need to hear their happiness major and their tragedy minor, and as jazzy as they can handle is a seventh chord? Are they not experiencing complex emotions? Experiencing sadness and anger can make you feel more creative, and by being creative, you can get beyond your pain or negativity. At its very core, virtual reality is about being freed from the limitations of actual reality. Carrying your virtual reality with you, and being able to jump into it whenever and wherever you want, qualitatively changes the experience for the better. Experiencing mobile VR is like when you first tried a decent desktop VR experience. A lot of times on tour it's about, okay, where am I today? Wow, I'm in Costa Rica. What is their famous dish? And it's about trying the food, and really experiencing it. I was lucky enough to grow up in a home where I woke up Christmas morning and had toys. I know that's not the case with all people, and I don't think kids should go without experiencing that sort of joy. My advice to anyone experiencing racial or cultural bullying, either in real life or online, is to remember that these cowardly acts of unprovoked nastiness merely display the bully's own insecurities, as what they point out as weaknesses are simply ways in which you differ from them. The thing that grounds you, and the thing that really gives you a sense of wholeness, is your family, friends, and your community. Those are the things that can mirror back to you what you're experiencing, and can affirm to you that the stories you are telling are true. Fear is often our immediate response to uncertainty. There's nothing wrong with experiencing fear. The key is not to get stuck in it. I love telling teen stories where the characters are experiencing things for the first time. The stakes feel really high. Safety is an illusion, and trying to protect ourselves does nothing more than protect us from experiencing a full, evolved, and juicy life. The experiencing self lives in the moment. It is the one that answers the question, does it hurt? Or, what were you thinking about just now? The remembering self is the one that answers questions about the overall evaluation of episodes or periods of one's life, such as a stay in the hospital or the years since one left college. My mom was the main reason why I became a chef. She influenced all of my family to feel free in the kitchen. It was the center of our home, and I have wonderful memories of helping mom cook and experiencing the love and patience that went into the food. The results of any traumatic experience, such as abuse, can only be resolved by experiencing, articulating, and judging every facet of the original experience within a process of careful therapeutic disclosure. We still have people in the active duty, and if people are feeling ill, if they're experiencing various symptoms and they're still in the active duty, they're less likely to come forward because that could result in their medical discharge. You might say that when you step inside, you're entering a honorific space, but that's something totally different than experiencing it. And in architecture, the experience comes first. That has the deepest effect on us. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.